I wonder what happens, like how this whole thing plays out, because most people don't have equity in their homes now.
Yeah.
Like I was reading something with Yahoo News saying that like 6% is the average down payment for a first-time buyer, and 13% was the average for a second home. So I heard you even saying yesterday in your on your show, is like average cost of sale is like 10%, 10%.
Well, you need to have 10% equity in your house in most areas. You know, every state's different, right? So we're in Maryland, so our transfer recordation fees, the government, they're pretty confident about those transfer recordation fees. They believe in them enough to really charge a lot. So I know somebody just bought in Texas and they were only $147 for transfer recordation fees. I couldn't even believe it when I was looking at the closing statement. But there are a lot of states where they're pretty stout fees to transfer a property. But despite that, at least you're going to have real estate commissions. You can plan on you're going to have costs. There's right in the sale. And so we find that you need at least 10% equity from what you paid for your house to be able to sell it and not come to the table with money.
Yeah.
Right. Now, we hear people that, you know, and some of the comments are like, well, you know, everybody pays cash for their house. They don't. Most people don't. Most people need financing. Yeah, there are a lot of cash transactions, but transactions are down 30%, 40% than they were even just a year ago. So yeah, we do see some cash transactions, but that's not the bulk of the buyers.
Yeah.
So what happens is in our area, we do a lot of VA because we're government. So we see these borrowers 0% down, right? They're like, oh yeah, I'm not going to put anything down. And that's great. But a lot of these military families, they move around a lot. And you're like, so what they end up doing is because they can't sell it, they end up renting when they move, and they keep their house and rent their house. So because they can't sell. Yeah. Right. So for a lot of the buyers in the last couple of years, I believe they're underwater.
Yeah. I think most of them are.
Yeah.
And I think there's some like really interesting things happening right now with what you just mentioned with military. I think it's not just going to be military, but I think it's going to be so many people that are like, hey, I can't sell. I have to rent it. I have to rent out that house.
You know what Rocket Mortgage is doing, right? Did you hear about the Rocket Mortgage program? And I'm not endorsing Rocket Mortgage, guys, believe me. But you have to be, I mean, as a buyer, you have to be aware. Ultimately, it's buyer beware, right? But Rocket Mortgage came out with this program, and you guys can go check it out. But basically, it's 1% down on a conventional. So they have this conventional loan program, right? So some people think it's FHA. It's not. It's conventional. And it's 1% down. And Rocket Mortgage is offering a 2% grant to come up with your 3% down for this loan program. All right. So a borrower comes out of pocket with 1%. Now, that does not include your closing costs. So even a VA at 0% interest, there's closing costs. Yeah. Most of the lenders, they charge origination fees, things like that, because they're going to sell your loan to somebody else, as soon as they, get you in your home. But anyway, there's conditions to this, which is even more disturbing in my opinion, because, basically what's happening is you can't make more than 80% of the median income in your area. So if you Google search the median income in Boynton Beach, Florida, or wherever, and you come up with what the median salary range is, you have to make only 80% of that. So you can't be a top earner, not even an average earner. So in my opinion, John, why in the world would you offer a under average earner the opportunity to be in a house with zero equity just about, right? I mean, this is what we're talking about.
They're negative equity. The cost of sale, they would buy it and then sell it the next day.
They couldn't. They can't. And the problem that is the most concerning with these younger buyers is, okay, you may be able to buy a house and be in there for 10 years, but most of these people are like, I don't want to be anywhere for 10 years.
Yeah.
I might move in too.
People can't commit to watching a full movie from start to finish, yet alone a 30-year mortgage.
Yeah, so it's kind of risky, man. It's scary. So when you see lenders, and I'm not knocking Rocket Mortgage, I'm sure they're a great correspondent lender or whatever. They offer their loan products through other lenders. mortgage brokers. But I mean, anytime you start seeing arms, discounts, things that, you know, are enticing you, 90 days, same as cash, 180 days, same as cash. All these people want to do is entice you
to
spend money now and pay later.
Yeah. I don't think there's any way that I was actually shocked of how the real estate market performed in the last few years. Like I was anticipating a bigger crash to happen, but all they did was kept pumping the system full of money, keeping interest rates at near zero, giving out all these loans.
Oh man, come on, buying mortgage-backed securities.
It was not. It was
like
the
government was doing that like mad.
Someone messaged me the other day on IG, and they're like, "Hey, are you investing right now?" I'm like, "I see more downside than upside. Like, I think there's easier ways to make money than to try to flip a house right now. I think flipping a house is probably one of the riskiest ways to try to make money right now.
Yeah. Unless they're putting lipstick on a pig and just not doing anything.
Yeah.
You know, here's the problem, and I've rehabbed houses. Yeah. Right. I mean, I've built houses, I've developed land. Since 1989, I've done a whole lot in real estate. And, but the thing is that people have to, and this is really important, guys. If you're listening and you're looking at buying a house right now and you're looking at a renovated house, a flip, a rehab home, there are good flippers, good rehabbers, and good products, but you're not buying a new home. And that's what everybody thinks. Mm-hmm. Even when I was doing it, right? Flipping properties. I mean, I'd built a very nice product, but I didn't fix freaking everything. I mean, very rarely did I take it down to the foundation or rip it all the way down anyway and just build a new house because it was better when I got into it. But what people think is when they're walking into the door of a rehab, they're thinking that they're getting a brand new house, and it actually could have been built in 1954.
Yeah.
You're buying a 1954 house that's been updated more than what a lot of the homeowners have done.